Welcome back, everybody. And on this episode of Bravo Tea with the Stay at Home Mom, I'm joined in person with my BFF, Jeanny.
Hey, everybody.
You may remember her from our episode last year in Florida when we saw Shannon and Vicky, housewives. That was fun.
It was.
I saw Luann's coming here in May.
Is she? Ooh,
Yeah.
I might have to return for my big 35th.
I know, the Countess would be fun. It is around your birthday.
Oh, sounds exciting.
Oh, TBD, we'll maybe do that. That would be fun. But on this episode, we're going to really get into the Paige and Craig of it all, since we just watched the Super Bowl the other day, and they were both there.
Yep, dynamic duo. One was in a box and one was down on the ground in the field.
Yeah, I feel like sitting that close is still expensive and special, but Paige is probably like, yeah, I'm here in my Ivy Tower and in a box, and you're
Being
on the field.
bougie.
Yeah. So she's definitely with that guy. She has come out and said she's not, but she is. I mean, you're not going to the Super Bowl with a friend.
And those hotel photos, the fanny
Mm.
pack, the bum bag,
Mhm.
the LV bum bag showcased in that picture in the background. There is
Mhm.
no doubt about it. That was his room as well.
Yeah,
And Craig, poor Craig.
I
It
know.
was his birthday yesterday, though, so hopefully he had a good birthday.
I know. I can't believe it was his birthday, and then it was two Eagles players' birthday. So
Yep.
good for them for winning.
Yes.
That was funny. But so he was on Watch What Happens Live, and we watched it together, and he was a little angry.
He definitely was unhinged and was like, I'm not staying silent anymore, letting everyone know I'm moving on. I'm not saying anything bad about Paige, but I'm also just gonna move on with my life and like not be this silenced individual anymore.
Hmm.
And I felt kind of bad for him. He was saying how he is getting a lot of DMs from girls, but he's sad right now, so it's too hard to
Yeah,
even think of dating anybody else.
which is why I feel like he is hurt and mad, because I don't necessarily think there was overlapping and cheating with Paige, because she has now said that she's not with that guy, but she is. But Craig said she broke up with him all the way back in Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So that means he was quiet and doing what he could for her. All of her friends are obviously like creating more unnecessary drama, and he's just
Mhm.
being an innocent bystander. Like, okay, well, I didn't tell anybody. Now you're expecting me to continue to be quiet. And I think he's just fed up and he wants to live a more honest life.
Yeah, Andy was asking him on Watch What Happens Live about like Kyle and Amanda making those comments, and then he's like, it's not my job to defend her and put things out and say she's not a cheater. And it really isn't. And also, like, maybe in the back of his brain, he's like, how do I know? How does he know?
He doesn't. And clearly, who knows if she already was creating sparks with this new guy before things officially ended, emotional cheating. I don't think she physically cheated, but I do think that she was going back and forth of what she wanted in her life. Does
Mhm.
she want that easy, relaxed life? And I think that in reality, she didn't. I think she still wants to live that like speedy New York lifestyle.
Mhm.
So,
Which I feel like this guy is more like that.
yeah, on the go, going to events,
Yeah.
public appearances, doesn't want to be living on a farm with kids like Greg.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's what happened on Southern Charm on that episode. They went and saw, let me pull up the notes from when we were watching. Went and saw the bees because Craig wants to start making honey, because he said he can't have chicken coops in his HOA, which neither can we. And next best thing, I guess, is to have bees.
Yep, and she definitely looked like a fish out of water at that bee farm, even though she was
Mhm.
completely covered up, but she wasn't thrilled about it, and he was so excited, and then when they went to go play with the goats after, that whole scene.
I know. I feel like he was testing her to be like, oh, we could get like baby animals to see if you'd be like a mom or want the baby animals. She does have a cat now, though.
She does have a cat. I do think that she was uncomfortable with the conversation and she was kind of
Yeah.
mean. You felt kind of bad for him. And she was like, oh, like you're like, not being on my side. And he really wasn't saying anything. He more or less was just trying to see like how she would react, I think.
Yeah. She made an interesting point. So their age gap. So she's 31 and I think he's 38.
Mhm.
at least while they're filming. So they may be even a year older now. But she was like, I want the same allotted time that you got to do things. Like, she's like, was anyone at your, like, when you were 31 saying, oh, Craig, you need to have a baby? And then they show a flashback of when he was all like
Mhm.
wild on Adderall,
Partying. Yep.
like yelling at an airport. And it's like, yeah, that was Craig at 31. And it's like, I understand, like, maybe she feels annoyed by him that he's like, well, I'm ready to have babies, and maybe she's not. But it's like, that's why I'm confused why he was blindsided then, if she was always telling him this.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like she wasn't. I feel like maybe she was playing the part, like, when you're dating somebody and you have the honeymoon phase and you're like, you're thinking you want all these things. I also don't think she appreciates him. And
Hmm.
I think it's going to be one of those things where she's on like her like busybody high horse right now, where it's like exciting to be going out and doing all these things. And then when the dust finally settles and maybe she's like not in the public eye as much, she'll realize like what she lost.
Yeah, because it's like, who knows how much longer she'll be on Summer House.
Hmm.
I mean, she is Giggly Squad and stuff and doing all that. But then, yeah, like 2 years from now, what if you're ready to have a baby? And then it's like, well, Craig's long gone having a baby with somebody else.
Exactly. Too little, too late.
I do
Mhm.
think she needs like a fast paced New Yorker, though.
Yeah, she definitely does. I think that, like, country, um, bumpkin lifestyle, like, which really in Charleston is still just as bougie as Manhattan. It's like the Manhattan of the South, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I just think that the age gap does make a big difference and obviously, like, where they're from.
Hmm.
Because I feel like Charleston has become way more happening, and it's
Yeah.
definitely has a lot going on now. They have that show, um, that Southern Hospitality show.
Yeah. I need to
So,
start watching that.
yeah,
I
same
hear they're
here.
wild.
But I just still feel bad for him. Gotta love Craig. I'm team Craig over here.
Me too.
I love Paige. I think she's great, but there's enough Pages in the world. We need more guys out in the Bravo world like Craig.
I know. I know. And he's come a long way. Like, I used to be so annoyed by him. And honestly, he wasn't really immature at the beginning of their relationship.
Was he?
Yeah. So it's almost like he evolved for her, and then now she's just going to leave him.
Right. I remember there was commitment issues in the beginning and he wouldn't commit to her, and then now
Hmm.
he finally has. It was almost like she like loved the chase.
Yeah.
And then she finally got him and really got him. And oh my gosh, do you actually think he did actually buy a ring? Because he did say that as well
Yeah. In the
in those
mid-season trailer.
in the mid-season
I bet he
trailer.
did. I mean, because he probably bought it. Maybe they were building it, making it, not building it, you know what I mean? But like,
Right.
yeah, maybe he was in the process of doing all that. I think he was going to propose, and she was really getting that feeling. So that's when it was like, oh God, I got to break up with him.
Yep. Part of me thinks that. I think she definitely got freaked out. But I definitely think she's moving on quick and she's like, I'm leaving the past in the past. But then I do think that she might reach out to him again in the future.
You think they unfollowed each other, or he unfollowed her at least?
Oh.
And then obviously he's unfollowed Kyle and Amanda. And of all people to make bold statements, I'm like, Amanda,
And
you
Kyle.
literally cry every weekend in Summer House. I don't know how they're still married.
I have no idea how they're still married. And also I feel like I know why they're still married. Didn't her dad have him sign a contract that if they were to break up or something, he'd have to pay him back for the wedding?
Oh, yeah. That was funny. I don't think her dad likes him. I
No,
mean, he
her
literally
family,
cheated on her on TV.
her, I feel like her entire family hates him.
Yeah. And
And
friends.
and talk about the most unstable relationship and the toxic things. I feel like they fill their houses with puppies and dogs all the time, so it's not like toxicity is like less visible.
Do you think that, like, he plays it up for the camera?
Yeah, 100%.
So do you think they're really not fighting that dramatically? Like, it's like
Um,
Heidi and
yes
Spencer.
and yeah, agreed. Yeah, Spidey. Shout
Yeah.
out to Spidey.
Shout
Love
out.
them.
They're making a comeback. I
Making
love
a real comeback. I
it.
hope they go on TV again.
Me
They
too.
need to. He's just like, and if that's not the most supportive husband, then I don't know what is.
I know. And see, I used to think he was a douche. And
Yeah.
then after he came out and said, no, it was all fake, I'm like, okay, I like you.
No, he's definitely like out there and in your face. I mean, look at what he's doing with his wife's like music, but
Mhm.
he's doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So the fight is worth the fight.
Yeah. And that's what I wonder sometimes about Kyle and Amanda. Because
Yeah.
they literally fight
But
all
I
the
just feel like
time.
he knows that no one else would put up with him.
I mean, that too.
But I also I like Amanda. I think she's like,
I don't think
definitely a
Sierra
cool
and
girl.
Paige like Kyle just because I think they see he like treats her like a doormat.
And he knows she'll stick around because she really loves him. But
Yeah, this will be interesting this season seeing. So Carl will be single,
mhm.
Lindsay will be with child. But then speaking of her, now her and her boyfriend have broken up. And I think that is interesting. Like, she hasn't come out and said it, so it's still like alleged, but she unfollowed him on Instagram. So I'm pretty sure that means they have broken up. And I don't know why.
Well, she's stuck with him for the rest of her life
I
unless
know.
she's not naming the baby after him or anything.
So
Like,
the baby is born. It's a girl. It's named Gemma.
oh,
But like Carl dumped her. And then, like, a little while later, she started dating this guy and then got knocked up. So that's too soon.
mm-hmm. Man, these summer house people, they get out and move on and that's it.
I know. And I had a feeling Lindsay would do that because she just wanted a baby so bad. But I feel like that's why I'm surprised more people aren't doing the Lala route and just having the baby on their own.
Just get a sperm donor.
She might as well have done that at this point because it's like the baby is like months old and now you're already not together.
Yep. Man. And now there's two more people you said on Summer House, two new cast
Yeah, two
members.
new hoes that are like walking in. So
Mm,
I feel like they have, so it comes on this Wednesday, the
mm-hmm.
premiere. They have Jesse and West arrive first, and they're single. And then we have these two new ladies walk in, and I feel like they wanted the four of them to be alone
I
at the
feel like
beginning on
anytime they
purpose.
bring anyone new on these shows, they don't last. They're gone. Like same thing with Vanderpump. They
Hmm.
had new cast members and they only lasted a season.
Yeah, now Jesse and West, this will be their second season.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like sometimes people don't last. Like there was this one guy that was on like 2 or 3 seasons ago. He ate all this ground chicken meat every morning and would like drink so much water,
Ew.
like bodybuilder status. But like
Oh.
boring, he was gone.
I feel like I remember him.
Same as like Chris or something.
Yes.
He was a dud.
He tried to be like the frat boy of the group and
Yeah,
he just wasn't.
no,
Yeah,
he
no.
wasn't.
Did not
And
succeed.
I'm like, where are you getting these people? They're always strangers. They're not friends anymore. It's just like randos.
Randoms. I have no idea. Calling in a favor to get on a show so they could be famous.
Basically.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be mad at West all this season because I liked him last year, but how he led Sierra on, I didn't like that.
Mm. I feel like Sierra is like kind of like a hopeless romantic. She like,
Her and Craig should date.
yeah,
Oh my God. Never because girl
never.
code, but
I don't know. I feel like Sierra like is as much as like we've gotten to know her, I feel like there's still something like that's a mystery about her.
I know. She's so beautiful too.
She's very pretty.
Literal model. That's why I'm like, ew, West, you're not even like on her level. You should be happy
Nope.
that she's talking to you. And like, okay, she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to sleep with you day one. And like, she did end up sleeping with him though,
Mm-hmm.
because she told us that on the reunion.
Oh, geez. But they didn't film that, I don't think.
No, so that's what I mean. I think she wanted to wait, and that's why she waited. Now, when I'm looking back on it, she probably wanted to be like, all right, is he going to talk to me after filming? Let's see. And then they did, and they were still hanging out. So then she slept with him. So
Mm.
good for her.
She still waited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then look what happened. Then it's
Mm.
like, so they were saying that like the fame got to him
Mm-hmm.
and like getting all the DMs and stuff. And then that's when Paige and Kyle were saying, don't you think that happens to us too? It
Yeah.
does. So it's like, are you really going to blow something good for like strangers DMing you?
Yeah. Going back to Paige, though, I mean, they did last for 3 years, so we'll give
That's why
them
I feel
that.
bad for him though. I think she knew it really wouldn't be that long term sometimes now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see that last episode of Southern Charm. Obviously, they were still together,
I know watching
but
this season is rough.
but I'm looking forward to the mid-season update.
Oh, I know. And then I can't wait to see now we'll get Craig on Summer House.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And him and Kyle are going to have that tiff about those like seltzers or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
spritz or whatever.
Spritz.
Ew, Loverboy isn't even good.
Nope. I agree. It tastes disgusting.
The flavors are strange. That's why. Like, it's like they're doing too much.
Right.
Like, it'll be like hibiscus peach tea. And I'm like, ew,
Oh,
just do peach or just do
yeah.
hibiscus.
Yeah.
Like,
Slow it down.
and then I had the ones I wanted to try were those little limoncello ones, but they didn't have the flavors. So I tried it was lavender blueberry.
Oh,
And that's what I mean. Like, that's gross.
yeah.
And I was like, these aren't that good.
Trying too hard.
Yeah.
Ugh, no.
So whatever Craig is doing is probably better. And that's why Kyle's mad. I think Kyle's jealous when he's been starting these tiffs with Craig because, like, he micromanages and does everything for Loverboy, whereas Craig has investors
Yep.
and is the face. Like, investors came to him for the spritz, and he's like, okay.
Right.
He has investors with Sewing Down South.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, a lot of the workload is taken off Craig.
He's almost like a silent partner, but like not silent.
And the face of it.
And the face
for the
of
clout, which makes sense.
Yep.
Like, we're going to buy the pillow because of Craig, not because of a stranger.
Right. Where Kyle, I think he's just too much of a control freak.
Yeah. And it's like, well, then you should have gotten investors. And he never has.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I don't think anyone would. He should have gotten them from the beginning.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Probably would have been smart. But I feel like Kyle just doesn't make a lot of smart decisions outside of marrying Amanda. Because again, I don't think anyone else would put up with him.
True. And I wonder if she's like, ugh, we're in this life together. I guess I might as well. Sometimes I think that's why Carl and Lindsay were like, well, we're already friends. We're on the same show, so we understand the life of being on TV. Because I feel like these people have to be careful.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't really trust anybody. Someone could be a total like fraud or imposter of some sort. You don't know who you're with. So it's always good. I feel like celebrities dating celebrities, you know, you're on the same page, same schedule.
Yeah. Like, Craig is on Raya now, which you said you need recommendations to be on.
Yes, you need or referrals in order to get on it. I'm sure if like you're like a celebrity, like Justin Bieber, you don't need referrals.
Yeah.
But like again, you do need referrals to get on it, and there's a lot of celebs on it. So.
But then it's kind of like, Craig, you're on TV. Like, I don't think you'll have a problem finding someone.
I don't think he will too, but I really do think he's heartbroken right now.
I know.
You kind of can tell. I feel like even all of his posts, like especially when he finally came like out on his post about like the breakup, and he's like, "All right, finally,
he was gonna cry."
Yeah, finally not being silent.
I know.
I'm rooting for him. I hope he does find someone amazing next. Now, what's the deal with him and his ex-girlfriend?
Naomi?
Yeah, she was reaching out and...
Really?
Yeah, there was an ex-girlfriend. Maybe it was Rachel?
I wonder if it was the one... Okay, so we had Naomi.
Okay.
And she's the one that was mean about his sewing.
No.
And they were on Southern Charm.
I don't think it was
And then he had a girlfriend that I think we never saw, but when they filmed Winter House, Paige, that's when she was hooking up with Andrea.
Okay.
And then Craig had a girlfriend.
Oh.
Like I don't know who she was, like a rando.
I think her name was Rachel. I don't know. They brought something up about him rekindling with like his ex, who's also now single.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was only a brief post that I saw, but I have not seen much since then. Again,
if that's where his heart is, like maybe, but it's also like you don't have to like lean back on somebody else. And he's like a different person. So I feel like he could just find somebody else.
He definitely confirmed he will not be summering in the Hamptons this year or going near it.
But it's like you really didn't.
Yeah.
He like went on the show like one time. So I wouldn't call that like summering in the Hamptons.
Right. And I guess it's good that they never officially moved in, even though he said he was moving to NYC.
Oh my God. That's when it was getting like dark when he was talking to Andy. He's like, you knew, like no one really knew, but you knew our plans. Like I was going to be moving to New York. And I'm like, see, as always though, he was taking all the
big stats
sacrifices while she just sits around.
Yep. It definitely was not mutual at all.
No. And he said that. He's like, this isn't my problem. And then Andy was like, well, it is. And he's like, no, it's not. I got dumped or I got broken up with. And it's like, it is true. It's almost like he has no say. And
I feel like we still need to hear more from Paige, though. I feel like she's going to eventually crack because she's been getting a lot of backlash on social media.
I have a quote from what he said. He said, whatever comes after anger. I went through denial and then fixing or trying to fix it, then sad, Then I hit anger for a little bit. And now I'm kind of getting excited for the future as much as I can, which is true.
Yeah.
And then he said,
Ugh, I love him. There's just something about him that he just like.
this is the part I agree with. He said, well, I mean, look at her credit. I'm better version of myself today than I was when I first started dating her. I didn't go back to drinking a ton through the breakup, so I've just had to feel it. But at the end of the day, I don't know if someone breaks up with you, you got to keep moving and living your life. Which in the mid-season trailer also, he basically said to Austin, and they, because I'm like getting sad that they're like falling out of their friendship on the show, because I'm like, no, like I feel like it's a little bit because of Paige, and then Paige is going to break up with you. So I hope you and Austin are still friends. He like is confessing to Austin when they go to oh my god, where do they go? The Bahamas, because Shep needs to like track down that girl that does not like him, which we'll talk about. He was like, I felt like I was becoming an alcoholic, and Austin didn't know that. So I think then now Austin is like, oh my god, Craig, I didn't know that. I feel so bad. Like now I take back like saying, why don't you go out and have fun anymore? And maybe that's why Craig had to isolate himself in his backyard and garden. Like some
Yeah.
people don't have the willpower to go to a bar and not drink.
Not drink. Yeah.
So I think Austin felt bad. I mean, at the end of the day, they're
I feel like
boys. They'll be okay.
I do feel like Paige gave him a lot of ultimatums in
Mm-hmm.
their relationship. And you can kind of tell, like, I feel like when they were at that farm, going back to that episode, like she kind of like was just telling him, like, well, if this is how you feel, then this is it. And he was like
Yes.
quiet.
Yes. Or she was like, if you don't like the amount of love I show, then that's a you problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting and good. She said that in a sense because it is kind of like, for the rest of our life, you can't rag on me. Like, she is who she is,
Mm-hmm.
which I will say, she never changed.
Right.
He did.
But again, he did change for the better. I'll give
Yeah.
her that credit for that. But did you change for the right person?
Yeah. But I am
I
glad
don't
he changed because
know.
he needed to. Because I used to think Craig was annoying.
Yeah. He
Like when he
definitely
would get
got like,
drunk, he'd get so whiny, like, Amy.
yeah, he definitely got hotter with the sobriety.
Truth.
Well, even though he's not necessarily sober, but
He does drink a lot of non-alcoholic beers this season, though.
okay.
Like, but then like they did go out and he did order like one normal one. But see, I guess that's when he was going through his whole like, oh, I thought I was going to be an alcoholic.
Yeah. And I feel like he really didn't drink when they had dinner at the producer's house. They kept
Oh
like
yeah,
referring back to his drunken days when he
yeah.
spilled the wine on the $20,000
Oh
sofa.
my god, which that was funny.
But
Whitney, however,
Whit,
was not sober and
Whit
broke that chair and was ragging on Shep. I think I wrote down what he said.
and needed to be put to bed. He basically told him that the girl didn't like him because he wasn't rich enough.
Yeah, he was
Ooh.
like, Whitney said, I think she's thinking you're not rich enough, famous enough, and you're boring.
Oof, burn.
So then it's because we found out a couple episodes ago, but Whitney tells Shep, she reached out to me first on Raya. So literally all these people are on Raya. So she's like a clout chaser. And then it was very interesting fact I found out. Her grandmother has a fan club for Southern Charm in the Bahamas.
That's hysterical.
Is that weird, first of all?
Very weird.
So I think that the grandma maybe pushed her to like even entertain speaking to Shep, because you could tell she is like couldn't give two shits that she's talking to Shep.
Too much. Yeah, he was like, oh, are you planning something? And she's like, no.
She's like, I don't know if I'm gonna be here when you all come down to the
I
Bahamas.
might be busy.
Yeah.
Even though you're like planning your trip around me and seeing me, and I don't know where I'll be. We'll see.
Yeah, it's like, what? And then it showed in the preview that like he's calling her when they get to the airport and she's like not even answering the phone, and Austin and Craig are like, what's happening? Like,
I think she's gonna go AWOL in the episode. We're not gonna see her once.
I think it's interesting he's throwing himself.
He's desperado.
Yeah, because then we get an appearance from Taylor's like barely on the show this season, which like good. I don't really like her, but she's like good. He's getting a taste of his own medicine, because I feel like she was the desperate one with them.
Yeah, which I really don't get it, because I know he's like a trust fund baby and whatever, he's set for life, but I just don't find him as intriguing.
He's not ugly. I mean, if you were making me look at him or Whitney, I would pick Shep.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Whitney looks like an old lady.
Whitney looks like an old lady, and I question his, straight hood.
Yeah, I mean, you're 54 and you still live with your mom.
Yeah.
Like, he has money. He could buy his own house.
Yep. I don't know why he still lives at home either.
I know, it's kind of weird.
Very weird.
And then, like, how do you bring girls back?
And I don't like his new hairdo.
No, the frosted tips.
Yeah, the blonde. It reads like gay husband vibes.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, pseudo husband, which seems sometimes I feel like he is to his mom.
Yeah. And she was like, Whitney, I think it's time for you to go to bed.
Yeah. Do you want me to tuck you in?
Yeah. She looks amazing though.
She does. I can't believe she's almost 80.
She had a better facelift than Whitney because I think he had a facelift or he did something to his face.
Did something. Something looked different.
Yeah.
But
looks a little waxy. I love Madison. So she's pregnant.
Yes, I saw that.
I'm so happy.
Yes.
So her son, oh my God, he has to be like, Hudson has to be like 9, 10.
Madison also dated Austin, right?
Yeah.
I liked
they're
this
like friends now.
But they're friends now. Yeah, they were taking shots.
Yeah, oyster shooter.
Yes.
And he said she looked like Hillary Duff
shooting
a music video.
Yeah, he slid a comment that he missed her.
Yeah, I actually like Austin when he's not being like
Austin.
Yeah, hooking up with Taylor behind Shep's back and Olivia's back. I like him right now. And he seems happy with his girlfriend. He was just on a podcast. He said they're still together.
Oh.
And he said, like, he'll be like, oh, you're going to be on the episode tonight. Do you want to watch it? She's like, no. But I like that. That's what they need. If they're not going to date people that are already in the public eye, they need someone like that.
That doesn't care. And it's just like, okay, I'm here to support. But
like Snooki's husband.
Yes.
Like he like hides under a rock before he would be anywhere.
Yep.
Which I like.
Yeah. Agreed. No fame horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get JT leaving soon. I keep wondering when he's going to leave.
Yeah.
Because he's going to go on the cast trip. I think he's going to leave after that.
Okay.
Which, good. Sayonara. Like, no one even likes you.
I feel like he wasn't even on the last episode.
That's what I mean. Like, my prediction for next season, he quits. So
there's a lot of people. I feel like people just aren't shown. And then the restaurant owner.
Leva. I think Leva's going to be gone. I think Taylor's going to be gone.
I think she's more invested in the new show.
Yeah. And I think Benita will be gone. Even though we're seeing some of her because of like JT, but I think she'll still be gone.
I feel like they've done a lot less group hangs and it's more about the guys.
Yeah.
This season than it is about any of the
Which I kind of like. Out of all the shows, I'm like, yes, I'd rather watch it be about the guys. And then we have those new ones, Sally and Molly.
Okay.
So that's why I think the other ones will leave.
Okay. Fair enough.
Molly used to sext Craig.
Oh.
But they never met in person.
Oh.
But Paige at the beginning of the season like thinks it's funny and was like, oh, is that your sexting friend? That is the one thing I will miss about their relationship, that she was never jealous.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because her foot was already out the door. I don't know.
Yeah. She wasn't emotionally involved.
Yeah, but I think that made for a better relationship because she wasn't.
Well, they were long distance too, so.
Yeah.
But he wasn't very jealous, so I don't think either. I think that was one thing, right? Or.
I wondered because like Andrea visited Summer House last season, and I mean he was literally getting married, but like Craig wasn't there. And you know his pee-pee bigger than Craig's because she said that
on her podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like sad they didn't work out actually.
Really?
Just because like I could have seen them working together.
But clearly I feel like
they both live in New York.
But they didn't work out because why didn't they work out?
She was obsessed with him. And then like he was like not like committed, like not that they were ever really like dating, but like she was like, I feel like head over heels for him. And then he was like, oh yeah, I'm talking to other girls. And was telling the guys that in Winter House. And I think she didn't know that.
Oh God.
But see, he lived in New York. So that's why I was like, well, that'll work. That could work.
Clearly not. And
I
now
just don't
he's,
think the long distance will work because someone will have to give up their life and move.
well, that's what Craig was doing though. He
Hmm.
was planning on moving, and she probably was like, shit, I'm going to be trapped with him forever if I don't cut
Yeah.
this off now.
Yeah. And he said that he was at her apartment when she broke up with him
Yeah, she
on the
went in
phone.
and he stayed there for like a few
He's probably
days.
stranded. What's he gonna do?
I,
I'd leave, but
and it was funny. He didn't say at her apartment. He said the apartment.
yeah, and it's like she made it clear he did not contribute to that because she didn't want him to, remember?
Right. She did not want him to.
I think the apartment's like $12,000 a month.
It's an amazing building. She says she's wanted to live there forever.
Yeah.
When a unit became open, she said she wasn't even like through her current lease.
Yeah.
So it is an amazing apartment. From when she did her apartment tours, they were big rooms.
Yeah, I will say at least it looks big for the like what she's paying. Like I feel like Lindsay and Carl's was the same price and theirs was not as big. Like it was nice, but definitely smaller.
Yeah.
Which she lives in it now. So I don't know where Carl lives. And then I don't know if the boyfriend ever moved in there because I was reading that. It said like they never really like lived together.
I don't get this. What is with all these relationships? They don't live together. Everyone's long distance.
It's like, what is with all this desperado? It's the end of the world. I guess I got to make it work with you. It's like, no. You say that when you're already married and have kids.
Right.
Like, guess I got to make it work with you.
Or at least got to try.
Yeah. Not like, oh, we're just dating. I guess I got to make it work with you. No, you don't.
Yeah.
And freeze the eggs, which, by the way, Paige is going to do.
Interesting.
Craig was probably like crying after that too because he froze his sperm this season on Southern Charm and she was like weirded out by it. And then now all of a sudden she breaks up with him and she's like, oh, I'm going to freeze my eggs. It's like, okay, but you weren't going to do that with him.
Nope.
See, those are all signals.
These are all signals. And I think he was just so head over heels that he couldn't see it. He was blinded.
That's why I'm confused why he's like blindsided.
I think it just, he probably thought like, oh, she'll just stay with me. Like, this is like, whatever. She's not going to want to keep,
Which he did say over Thanksgiving that she was talking to him about getting married.
Yeah.
So I think that's
so that's where I'm confused. Yeah. If they're talking about the wedding, she said with her mom, I guess they had spent Thanksgiving at her family's. Like, why talk about anything in the future at all? Makes zero sense.
Because then literally days later she broke up with him.
Exactly. Did you just like wake up and have like an epiphany? Like, oh my God, what am I doing? This is going to be horrible. Maybe. I need to end this now.
Maybe.
And she wasn't even with him, right? She called him.
I think that's mean too.
Yeah. She couldn't even do it in person.
Yeah.
So like, also, where was she when she did this?
I think it said she was in Toronto. So it must have been something for Giggly Squad.
Okay.
Which I feel like so that's what he was saying on the episode on the farm when she was getting like mad and he said, I just don't want you to keep putting it off saying, oh, I need to make another million before I settle down or I need to do another business adventure before I settle down. But I'm also confused. Like, look at Lindsay. So she's like 38. She just had the baby. She's going to get like a nanny and still be doing her.
That's what I'm saying. She could still live her life and like have like all this stuff unless she just doesn't want to juggle both.
And couldn't you see Craig being Mr. Mom?
Yes. 100%.
Like she could work more and he could take care of the kid more.
Literally.
Or like they'll literally get a nanny. I mean, let's all be real. So I'm confused why she thinks like she has to become a martyr.
I think these were all just excuses for her to just move on. I don't think she was as in love with him as he was with her.
True.
I mean, now obviously she's getting a lot of backlash from like on the web and social media. So I feel like she's starting to become more emotional. I saw a few posts about that, but it's because she just doesn't want to seem like she's like this, like, huge bitch who just doesn't care about anyone's feelings.
Yeah. But also she is single. She is allowed to be dating that guy, but 100%. I think she's not admitting it because it'll seem like.
Well, and I think this guy also was engaged or something.
Yeah, and I told you the girl like put a story up and said that the girl slid into the DMs and it's not, she claims to be a girl's girl. So we're all assuming it's Paige.
It has to be.
Yeah. But I am surprised. I couldn't see Paige going after a taken man.
Unless he was saying he wasn't taken and maybe it was over really with his fiance and they just hadn't officially broke the news.
Her and Craig should date. The fiance.
Maybe. made the plot thicken,
I
but
know.
huh,
No, I think he'll get like a nice little Southern girl.
I think so too. I feel like he'll get someone who's like ready to settle down and like
Yeah.
not go after like this like exciting.
Which I feel like people are down there too. And he's from, shout out, Delaware. So it's just like,
He is?
yeah, he's from the
Oh,
beach though. So
okay.
he's from like Fenwick.
Okay.
But so his parents still live there and his brother.
Oh,
And he
nice.
brought Paige like home sometimes. So that's interesting. But I just feel like New York is different.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Craig was living here still, he probably would be married and have a kid.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
Charleston's more like that too.
Yeah.
So he's just used to that. But again, Paige knows all that.
Knew all of this from the get-go. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like in the middle of like the 3 years she just found out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh,
I'm wondering if she did a little, now that we're thinking she did this with Joe D'Amelio, I wonder if she slid in Craig's DMs or would text him when he had that girlfriend on Winter House.
maybe.
Maybe she likes that chase.
Maybe she just like tries to like friend zone them and like sees where to see where it goes. And maybe she's not sliding into their DMs like I'm trying to be your mistress, but trying to be your friend and see what happens after the fact.
So Jesse Solomon, the one that was on last season,
Mm-hmm.
was hitting on Paige pretty much. And then everyone was like, oh my God, why are you doing that? You know, she's a taken woman and whatnot. I'm wondering if this summer, since they'll both be single, well, I guess technically not if she's dating this guy. Damn, I wanted to see them be single together one summer if they would hook up. I mean, that's still a
I
couple
mean,
months
there's
from
still a
now.
couple months from now, so she football season will be over.
Yeah, and she claims she's single, so maybe. But they did a little flirting on Instagram. Well, more him. She wrote under his picture and was like, oh, this is a better photo dump. And then somebody wrote, please date. And then he wrote, you know what Jesse Solomon would do. So that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like put his hand on her leg at like a club, but they weren't filming, so we didn't see. But she told the girls on the beach.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like she's not going to be locked down. Like as much as she's dating, if she's dating Joe D'Amelio now, she might still be seeing other people.
True, and maybe he is too.
Even though I feel like she's always claimed that she's not that type of girl to see multiple people at a
Yeah.
time.
Which, I mean, I feel like guys do that.
Guys do it
And it's
all the time.
okay. Like, oh, I'm dating or I'm going on dates. Jesse Solomon example. He said, oh, in the city, I have 3 dates lined up for the week. I mean, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
What if you mix up their names?
Or what if, like, you like the first one? Do you cancel the other 2 dates?
Yeah. What? I don't know.
Or do you just, like, go on them
Roll
and
with
then
it.
pick? I don't know.
I don't know. Process of elimination.
I wouldn't want to do that either.
I feel like it's too full of a calendar.
Yeah.
Too
And,
much
like,
juggling.
are you paying for all the dates? You're the man. If we want to be stereotypicals, that's like 3 NYC dinners. That's
Mm-hmm.
you taking them to hot dog stands
Yeah.
like, to make sure.
Yeah, he's definitely not getting paid that much through Bravo.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to know how much like the newbies make.
I feel like a lot of the summer house stars, though, they do have other jobs.
They do. And I like that, like seeing their New York City life. So Lindsay, I was reading this article. She said she would like to come back for, this season coming up that they would film in a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, because I feel like they film us in the city and our daily life. So I could come to the house some, but obviously I have a baby. So I won't be partying or staying that much in the house, but they could show other aspects of their life. And I actually like when we see their work week in the city. I like seeing both because sometimes it's monotonous. They sit in that house.
Mm-hmm.
We were discussing this the other day. It's far from the beach.
Yeah, it's kind of in the middle of like the Hamptons. Initially, the original house was in Montauk, and now this house is like in the middle of the Hamptons. But it would be nice. I wonder if they'll showcase more scenes that are like going through town since they're close to Sag Harbor. Obviously, with Lindsay with the baby, maybe they'll be. But I know that the Hamptons are strict about filming like in too many places. Like because when the Kardashians had their pop up, it was like a nightmare.
So maybe that's why they don't go out that much.
Yeah, maybe. Like it is expensive. That much I can confirm.
Yeah. And I wonder if Bravo pays for their outings.
So
You
remember
think?
with the Real Housewives, there was a whole thing about them not wanting to pay for something.
Yeah,
There was a big bill. I think it was OC.
that makes sense though. Don't be like too crazy. Like
Mm-hmm.
go out and eat the dinner, but don't order like champagne like and Don Julio to the table. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Like
Something, but we'll see. It should be a good season.
I know, I'm intrigued. This is when Kyle's gonna adventure out and be like a DJ, and then
Oh.
Paige is like, somebody had to come and stand with his wife while he pretends to be Diplo. It's just always Kyle doing what he wants. Like he always says
Mm.
he's so stressed and he's so busy working. I have time for nothing, but now he's like DJing. But he flipped out last season because Amanda was like, maybe I'll do something other than Loverboy.
Well, she's been working with a lot of stylists. I know she's been becoming very noticed, like through that, and just like being a style leader.
Which like I don't really like her
Hers,
clothes.
yeah,
Her
she's a
style's
very
weird.
organic, earthy look. Definitely like different. Baggy,
Too baggy
yeah,
sometimes.
very baggy look. But isn't she doing something with the animals though too? Something along those lines.
I think, but she has her bathing suit line coming out. So
Right,
that
that's what it
came to
was.
fruition. So good
Okay,
for her.
good for her.
Because that's going to make money. Like Kyle's is more for like narcissism. Like I don't think we're buying a house off of your DJ
No,
bullshit.
and do you we think they ever will buy a house? I feel like they're going to be in the city forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we need to have kids, then buy a house. It's like, that's chaotic. Maybe buy the house when she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. But I'm like, I personally wouldn't want a baby in the city.
No,
It's
it's
too chaotic.
a lot of chaos. Unless you're
Yeah.
just like Lindsay, who has one kid, and it's that's
Yeah.
it.
But see, now she's going to be alone, I guess.
I did see her apartment though, and I did see the room. Looked very cute.
So
Yeah,
cute. It
really
was
cute.
cute. I know. I wonder if I feel like it's only a 2-bedroom apartment.
It is. It's small. But
Paige's probably is too. But she doesn't have a kid.
she doesn't have a kid, so she uses that one room, I think, for a closet.
Single life.
Single life.
Just think if anyone visits her, they just have to sleep in her bed. There's no
Exactly.
spare room.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's so funny. Well, this was fun doing the
Yeah.
down low. I'm trying to think if there was any other like Bravo tea. So Madison's pregnant. Lindsay's a single lady. All just the hubbub with Paige and Craig. I feel like that's pretty much it.
Which I think we're going to hear for a little longer.
Especially since they were at the Super Bowl together.
Yeah, and I think everyone's going to continuously like be checking in on who he's dating next. They're going to keep trying to confirm if Paige is with Joe, which I think she is.
Yeah.
But
because now she has press for Summer House. So he had press for Southern Charm. So that's why he said he asked Paige, can we not announce it right now? Because he broke up or she broke up with him and then the show came out. So imagine that for him, which I understand. Instead of him doing press and them asking about the show, everyone would have been asking about that. So I get that.
yeah,
But
just kind of stinks now we know that they're not together in all these episodes coming up.
I know.
But
And then they pick cameras back up, which is just,
Mhm.
I mean, talk about a Bravo trend. Scandival kicked that off, and now it seems like they do it for
I
everybody.
kind of like it though,
Me
because then you
too.
get real time, like real life, like what's going on now
Yeah,
versus what would happen 8 months ago.
yeah,
Like when we watched the episode of Southern Charm and they're at the bee farm and like it's just so awkward. Like we know you're not together and like you're
yeah,
able to like dissect everything a little bit more.
yeah. So he
But
talks to Shep and Austin, and he's like, "Yeah, I
Mhm.
had a ring," and I'm like, "Can you return it?
Cancel that order, please.
Sell it to Austin. Definitely don't sell it to
The
Shep."
chef, give it to his bohemian princess.
Oh my god, what a joke! Again, long distance, and that's not even in the same country. Like that's a no.
Yep. Well, we'll have to recap that episode soon.
I know that'll be interesting. I don't know how many more episodes are left, and then they're filming their reunion this week,
Oh.
so that'll be interesting.
At least we'll get to hear the breakup of him and Paige on the reunion at least.
I know, and I'm wondering if they'll force JT to be at the reunion
Ooh.
because I've read before if you don't come to the reunion or you quit in the middle, you don't get paid.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
only
an
right.
incentive.
I mean,
I
he's
agree.
technically backing out
Yeah.
his contract.
Flow it all the way through. Yeah.
So, like Lisa Vanderpump, when she didn't come to the Housewives reunion, she just didn't get paid.
Yeah,
But
well,
she
for
doesn't need
her, I
it.
think she's fine. Even though I have heard that they're having money problems, but
Really? Lisa
yeah,
and Ken?
at Villa Rosa, or was that what it's called, Villa
Of
Rosa?
their house?
Yeah,
Their house looks like it's, like,
it was like
so
a
expensive to
yeah,
upkeep.
yeah,
Like, out of control.
swans.
Yeah, the swans and the ponies.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right.
I think
Love
that
you.
love
This was
you.
fun.
Next episode will definitely be in sunny Florida because I am freezing my tush off here.
Yeah, she's leaving today and she's like, get me out of this cold weather.
Back to the sunshine.
I know. But we'll miss you here, and our doggy Frankie will miss you.
Thanks for having me, Erica.
Thanks for coming on. Remember, guys, look me up on Instagram, Bravo T with a stay-at-home mom, TikTok, YouTube. I got to get more on the YouTube. I got to get on top of that. Maybe Bella will help me. Say YouTube queen.
Gen X.
Yeah, that
Or
crazy
I
generation.
don't even know what it's called anymore. Gen X, I think, is under baby. Gen Millennial. Then you have Gen Z. Then you have Gen.
Are they Gen X?
No, I think it's Gen I. I don't know. Stay tuned. We'll figure out what Gen it is.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
That vibe makes them come alive. You're so picture perfect.